This is the Aldora devlog for the week. Let us begin. Coming in with the Aldora devlog, I've done quite a bit when it comes towards building out the world, as mainly this is more in part of a game development world building project to go alongside the Void universe and the game and all of that jazz. That works out quite well as I have been building out a lot of the scenes. This due in part as we go over towards increasing the area by just expanding ourselves and then just logging into the actual game. You can see that I've actually built the houses. Overall, when it comes towards the houses are designed as 2D sprites. I took a little bit of time in order to actually draw these ones out. There was multiple different types of iterations to make sure everything fit together. However, when it comes toward the base model, you can actually go inside of these areas and just look around and all that jazz. It will fill out as I fix more little minor bugs with those houses and huts for the village of Talendar. I've also added out lot of the scenery with all the trees and everything, along with the textures to go alongside these. The huts go alongside that. I even made a little stein to go on the floor that you can pick up and drink if you wanted to. We also have the well to go alongside that, and also a lovely little barrel to go inside with all of that. Mainly the last week or so before Christmas and everything was just going a bit crazy, I just decided, screw it, I'm working on the world building assets. I want to build this out as well as I possibly can. So there's like literally something you can literally see for this week. And overall, I will be expanding on that over the next few weeks, as we can't really build out quests if we don't have mobs, nor do we have any assets to go into the literal world. I did do some of the walls. I did them brick by boring brick, literally, and when it comes towards all of that, find every brick and then I stuck them all together to make the walls. So that means I can make more assets to go alongside that. The blending for the actual houses, on the other hand, was meshing with the walls a little bit too much because they were the same type of brick. So I added the wood around the sides to actually make it a lot more homely, as well as adding in the effect of it actually having an outline to some respect. With some of the walls, I even added some roses and some vines to go alongside that to really open up the world in general when it comes towards all of that. So there's actually some windows you can see inside, and the walls with the vines growing up them and everything like that. So overall, I've built out quite a fair amount for the drawings and everything. It's mainly due in part of just building out all of these 2D sprites and trying to make them work in a 3D setting. The hardest part for me was the literal top of the house and trying to get that worked, because you had to literally bend the 2D sprites together in order to make them fit. As obviously they're 2D sprites, you've got to try and make them into a 3D object, which was a bit of a fun experience for me, and trying to make this all work as one thing, as all of this stuff is hand drawn and hand painted. I've got to actually work this out. The orcs I've actually moved further back in order to expand the region. I talked about this in the Discord, especially when it comes towards the actual literal zone of Arundir, which will be for the demo. This will mean that the castle, the Arundir region castle and or city, will be literally behind the character as we see. It'll be over near the mountains. It'll be part of the mountain peak, and then over this way we can carry on with all of that. I've drawn out so many different types of things. Especially when it comes towards everything else. And with those houses inside the actual village, we want to add chimneys and everything and make sure they've got the fire animations to go alongside that, make it a bit more homely and build out everything that way. When it comes towards the walls, we're going to have to make some 3D assets out of 2D sprites to make some pillars in order to have like some sort of flame to go on the top, or like night lights or standards. So I've drafted up a load of those. I even had a nice little idea when it comes towards tricks for the alchemy profession and what she is and what she's actually going to be. I'm going to keep that one a secret because it's going to look really cool once it's done. It's going to take a while in order to build. But overall, we're just building out the zones as we speak. So if we actually cut out and we actually have a look at the village in question, there's Talendar. village, and then we'll have Arundir in the back region over here, the Arundir castle, and then we've got the plains where we'll have the orc encampment over here. So when you're actually doing this, you don't have to really go far to go towards the orcs. The orcs, I haven't done any different changes to their animations as of yet, as I want to make sure that the zones are made out. So we've got to make an orc encampment with like their fire, their camp, their little huts and everything. So then all of those. You've got to actually draw out all of the little different types of animals and or grasses, herbs that you can pick with the professions. And overall, it's going to be, this year is just going to be quite insane, to say the least. Because this entire area and or region is going to be pretty much going to be cut off from the rest of the world for the initial demo, so you won't be able to get over those mountains because there won't be anything there for the demo, so it makes no sense to let you in there. And just flushing out everything for all of this. Hopefully you guys had a good Christmas and you are going to have a good new year. I'm going to be currently working on building out this region even further, as if we go into the actual village, there seems to be a decent amount here, but we've got to build out an entire zone. And over the next few months, we will have that with all of the quests, all of the profession stuff, and everything in between with all of that for that initial zone. I want you to try everything on that demo, at least a little bit of that in the demo. And that is the literal target until we can actually progress further. I've drafted up new different types of things, so like the architecture for the city, when it comes towards like encampments, base camps, and or barracks and broken ruins to go in the Arundis region, because we've got to add some lore in there, as the Ashali actually birthed from there when the assault of Rondir happened. I've got to actually have the scorches and the remnants of that, so you will be fighting some Ashali once I actually draw up the models. But aside from all of that, just building out and flipping through my sketchbook, I'm just drawing loads of stuff at the moment. You obviously can't see because of the light. But overall, when it comes towards all of that, I've got to add the animations for your attacking and all that stuff. Make sure that when you're jumping, the actual chest guard moves, so it's like that. And then be able to actually draw out all the new armor sets and everything. Overall, while it's actually coming towards everything, this is filling out quite nicely for the demo for getting it done. It's mainly building out the world at this moment in time before we finish up all of the other different types of systems, such as like the mountain system, because that's not really a requirement. We've got the questing system, we've got an attacking thing, we need the attack animation to be done. However, I'm not going to do that attack animation as of yet because we want customizable characters, so it makes sense to just build out the world and build out the quests to go inside with the inventory system to make sure all of that's all fleshed out first, and then we can work on the character creation system and then build that out. Once the character creation system is done, work on the animations together in unison, and then we can then add that into all of that, and then we'll work on sound design, building out and making it a bit more of a decent vibe, because when you get into certain regions of the area, I want you to actually have a homely feel with the music of Talendar, but when you get out of Talendar, you want it to change to that more aesthetic music to go with that. So I will have to find a developer for the sound design. I know roughly what I want for all of that, but it will be a bit of managing throughout the given year, and just building out all of that will take a little bit more time in order to build that out. So I'll have to do that on the side, as well as drawing out all of the assets, and making all of the animations myself, as well as coding everything else in. Overall, this is really shaping up to be quite a handy thing, as well as overall, and I'm really liking how the aesthetics are actually coming along. I would love to know your thoughts on all of this. Like, how do you feel about the aesthetics so far when it comes toward the literal world at this moment in time? It's kind of bland at the moment from my experience. However, I will intend to add more little assets to go into the town, so like the homes don't all look the same, things won't all be exactly the same. There'll be little key differences to establish it from other places, as these 4 huts will have certain aesthetics to them and or people inside of it, like NPCs, and we'll actually make it a living, breathing little town, as well as expanding the rest of the world with all the other different types of creatures to go alongside the quests. Because like I said last week, or the week prior, I want at least like 60 quests in this entire zone, because I want you to be able to get to at least level 15, and on a level 15 silver, which is what is currently what the character is at right now, is a level 1 silver. We want to boost that up in order to get to at least level 15 on the demo, and then you can go from there, and then adjust the character models and all that stuff. There's quite a lot to think about at this moment in time. However, building out the actual world as we speak is going to be my best bet for designing the rest of how every other interaction works, especially like door interactions and everything to go alongside that. So mainly it is the world building throughout the next couple of months, just trying to build it all out as well as I possibly can and as good as I possibly can. Other than that, I hope that you guys have a lovely new year, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.